Hello there, Sagittarius. Let's find out what your blocks are for bringing in the money and what is your advice for bringing in more money. We had the Page of Swords come out. Oh, what else? Ooh, the Ten of Cups. So let's get a look at that. But before I get started, I need to introduce myself. I'm Michele, and I create tarot readings for you 2 or 3 times a week. They're short and sweet, to the point. They don't take you very long. It's just a little bit of advice, food for thought, what to think about, provided to you by the tarot. Anyway, make sure you're in the loop when you're subscribed. This is something I'm going to have to talk through. The Page of Swords is all about communication. Maybe I'll have to clarify that. And then the Ten of Cups is all about wishes coming true. Like there's, well, you know what? So the vibe that I'm getting coming in is something about your, in particular, I'm hearing your mother having these fantasies. Your mother having, let me tell you specifically, this might resonate with you. The specific incident in my life that came through when I saw this card at this time was my mother would like to go to the subdivision show houses. That was something that we enjoyed doing in the afternoons after school. So she would take my sister and I with her, and like we'd go and get like a cheap hamburger from like the mini mart, the cheapest hamburgers there were because my parents were very poor. And we would go to the subdivision show houses, and we would just walk around and pretend that we were rich and we could afford a house like that. So this is the image that I'm getting for you, Sagittarius. It's like, there's like a bittersweetness that goes along with it, and it might be something that you experienced in your childhood, and you might have created a negative attachment to that, to the idea that if you fantasize, you're just torturing yourself. But that fantasy, it gives you happiness in the moment. And isn't that what wealth is? It's like the feeling of being, the feeling that you are stable, the feeling that you are free, the feeling you can have anything you want whenever you want. But essentially, it's like everything's okay. The feeling that everything is okay. And that's the feeling that you need to be in order to be satisfied with your wealth, no matter how much money, no matter how little money you have, but no matter how much money you have. Because there are people that are multimillionaires. I personally have known at least one millionaire property owner that had a constant income coming in, had interest earning savings in the bank. They were doing they could just buy a property straight out and live on it, right? They were always worried about money. They never felt like this. They never felt happy, like they had enough, like their lives were stable, okay? So it doesn't matter, Sagittarius, how much money you have. What matters is this. So what's this all about? I felt like it had to do with, see how this guy's like looking at this? It's like, it's stupid to try to imagine that you're having anything but what you actually have. So that's something from your childhood, right? Let me get some more advice. Yeah, so we got Nine of Wands coming up. Like, you have to defend yourself. There's this defensiveness. Like, I'm also hearing something like, people don't understand what it was like growing up poor. Okay. Now there's a resourcefulness that comes from, because like I said, I grew up in an impoverished community. It wasn't just that my family was poor. It was the whole community was poor, right? And then I ended up moving to wealthier, like stepped up into wealthier and wealthier communities because I had children, and I didn't want my children to grow up in that kind of community, even though I love them. So like I said, there's a resourcefulness and a grittiness that comes from growing up in that kind of environment where you're like looking around at the softies in the wealthier environments that you're in, and you're like, you know what? You don't really know what it's like to go without. You don't really know what it's like to have a hungry stomach. You don't know what it's like to have to like live in a house where the roof is starting to cave in, you know? You don't know what it's like to like to have rotting teeth and not being able to do anything about it. So there's like this vibration that you're putting off, like these other people don't know what it's like and they're kind of a bunch of pussies. So watch that, because that attitude, like I know what it's like to be poor, is what's keeping you from reaching the next level. So instead of appreciating the wealth that you have at this time, instead of being like that naive, excited child that would like run around the subdivision house and be like, we're rich, we're rich, we're rich. Instead of enjoying that wealth that you do have at this time, you're going around being like, I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to be poor. There's a block, okay? That will keep you from leveling up into loving and enjoying the wealth that you have at this moment. Go for this. Yeah, I pulled that reading together. Hell yeah. Love you, Sagittarius. I'll see you later.